3, 2, 1. We're live. Good morning. Good morning again. Good afternoon again. Good evening again. This is Angela with another edition of Notes on the where I share from my news feed, and we kick it about the headline, about the article, subject matter at large, whatever happened to come up. But it's not news. It's just my notes on the news. We're doing a survey of what's going on in the world today. I happen to find interesting. Like, share, comment, subscribe. We're working on 1,000 subscribers, so thank you for being here, and thank you for being a part of the vision. We usually start off with two things. The first thing we do is we focus on one of the Nguzo Saba, which is 7 principles from Kwanzaa each day. So today's principle is, I think it's Imani. Don't quote me on it, but I guess we're going to decide. It's Imani. Dang, I feel like I'm so... Bella won't come in the car with me. Yep, I'm a first. Fuck it, who cares? I'm here. Oh, you got me cussing on the TV. Oh, wait, this might be better. Okay, my dog won't come in the car. And then when we went out to get something to eat earlier, she wouldn't get out the car. And usually what I can do is I can say, come on in, Bella, ride out, roll out. She answered either, though. She like, okay, I'm ready. And then I put her in the car and I pick her up and carry her in the house. But she wouldn't let me catch her when I was trying to get her earlier. So she just wilding out today. She just wilding out. And then I called her to try to bring her in the car, and she just stood in the street and looked at me. You know, the people in Detroit, they ain't used to it. She a country dog. She used to be in the street just walking around, and people ain't used to her. So they probably gonna call the animal control people on her, and then she gonna have to live with people who ain't me, and she gonna be sad and depressed. Imani, faith, to believe with all our heart in our people, our parents, our teachers, our leaders, and the righteousness and victory of our struggle. To believe with all our heart in our people, our parents, our teachers, our leaders, and the righteousness and victory of our struggle. And I always like to add our ancestors and our children. And I guess you could even say like children as in the progeny, the unborn children too. We got to believe in them too. That the completion, but we planting seeds, and you know, we may not understand how everything is going to unfold, but it's unfolding. It's all in divine order. So Imani, do you believe in our people? Do you believe in yourself? Do you believe in your parents, your teachers, your leaders, and the righteousness and victory of your struggle? Do you believe in the victory of your struggle? I think that's my favorite. The righteousness and victory of our struggle. All right, let's see did the Buddha say anything to us today? What up though, Buddha? We got some words from the Buddha, so let's see if we can get anything from this. Though there are those who do not realize that one day we all must die, but those who do realize this settle their quarrels. Don't be out here arguing and fussing and fighting. We gonna die. You might as well just settle the skit now. Just go on and settle it. Just it ain't even that deep, because if you dead, is it gonna be deep? No, so it ain't deep now. I guess that's what the Buddha's saying. We all gonna die. Just settle your quarrels now. All right, so that's it. And do you remember the Nguzo Saba? Habari gani. That means what's the word for today? What's the word for today? Imani. Is it Imani? I think it's Imani. Faith. Imani. Mama Imani. Yeah, that's faith. Okay. So let us see what the news, what's on the news feed. It might just be me and you. What we gonna do? We gonna be able to make it. Okay. Filed under yay, Mormon Church to celebrate the 40-year anniversary of lifting ban against Black people. Yeah, I like that headline. That's coming off the grill. You hear out there barking, a car driving after it, chasing it, barking. Now she just standing in the street. Excuse me for one moment, please. Come on in here, girl. Come on, Bella. She just looking at me. So embarrassing. She's so rude and disrespectful and disobedient. I'm a beat her when I get her. 13 etiquette never realized you were breaking. So what I thought was interesting about this is that when I think of like etiquette and, I don't think of the rules as being important. I think of the concept, I'm a ride or die with you. Ooh, that's a good one. What if I'm going, what if we riding out on some bull? Okay. Look, I had to drive across the street. Okay. I don't think that you still there. We live? Is we live? I don't think that the particular rules of etiquette are important just by virtue of being rules. What I think is important is to be considerate and respectful of one another. And that's something that I think is really important. And I know some people don't think that's important, but I feel like, that's what, not chewing with your mouth full is. To me, it's like, don't nobody want to eat and see you chewing your food while they trying to eat, because that may not be attractive. That may be disgusting to somebody else. That's why you don't, although, you know what I'm saying? But I don't think it's like, oh, don't put your elbows on the table. Now, I think that could have to do with, you sharing space with people and, but anyway, yeah. NBC launches diverse directing initiative for unscripted programming. So unscripted program, that's like reality shows, right? So ABC is going to have reality shows. Does NBC have any reality shows? What kind of reality shows are they going to have? The Real Housewives or something? Some kind of wives? I mean, what's going on? Maybe it's going to be like Survivor or something like that. I don't know. Because CBS has Survivor and what up, though? I made it back. I know. CBS has a Survivor, and that's considered a reality show, not an unscripted show, I think. I don't know. So they want diverse directing, an initiative. Starbucks is set to lose 12 million by closing stores for racial bias training. Más means more in Spanish. Más. It's for closing stores for racial bias training, but it is still a brilliant business idea. I don't give a FUQQ about no DAMN Starbucks. They get on my nerves. This whole headline get on my nerves. It's so brilliant. This training, they paying foolish people to do foolish stuff. Anyway, and then where I was today, every time I go up there, I go past the Starbucks and it gets on my nerves just going past it. And I see people, turning into it. And like they just get on my nerves. I don't even know them. I can't really see them. But like it's like I'm like, ugh, to the cars. They get on my nerves. Serena Williams claims French Open win looking like a Wakanda superhero in a black Nike catsuit. Remember Flojo, and when she used to have those nails and that hair, and she was like all like glamorous but athletic at the same time. And then when the girls came out and they were like, had their beads and they were like stylish, but they were like black stylish. Yeah, that. Russia's opposition journalist Arkady Babchenko shot dead in Kiev. So he would say some stuff about the person who ran the country that the person who ran the country didn't like. So now this person is dead, a journalist. So rest in peace to him, and may truth and justice rise up. Continue to rise up and thrive. May it rise up in all of us and thrive. I mean that with a smile. I'm just like, I don't know. Maybe my belly is full. Oh, I had some Buddy's pizza. Y'all don't know nothing about no Detroit pizza. Ugh, I ate too much. Okay. When Missouri banned education for all blacks, this man on the news this morning, they were talking about how they started putting them in lower income urban areas. I'm like, are you serious? That's like putting a Tiffany's in the middle of the hood. Who can afford that? It's like teasing them. Don't nobody want that junk. I feel like I can afford it every time I've gone in because people are like, oh, Starbucks, oh. And I'm like, oh, let's go in. I'm like, I don't want none of this mess. And then I'm not paying $2 or $3 for no tea, for mint tea. I'm not doing that. I mean, I've done it on occasion, but no, this is not exciting. I'm not doing it. Ooh, a big old bee just landed on the front window. There's a car right in front of me, and this is where it's a cardinal that hang out on that the rear view mirror of this vehicle. Pizza him, pizza her, chill. I just mean by putting them in areas where they know it's low income. It makes no sense. Right. I don't know what they're doing. They don't make any sense to me. Right. Who has... So anyway, this was a good story. I kind of like this story. One, because I never heard of freedom schools outside of the context of the 1960s. Overpriced ass coffee. Briefly unavailable for scheduled maintenance. Check back in a minute. What the... Okay. So anyway, I guess I'm probably not going to check back in a minute. I don't know. But I had never heard of freedom schools outside of the context of like the 1963 Freedom Riders and the establishment of freedom schools and freedom schools established in the context of children being able to get free lunch during the summer and free breakfast during the summer. And so putting some programming, some intellectual nutrition along with the food, which was supposed to be nutritional too. You about to go at it. So this freedom school was from a long time ago. This freedom school was when the enslavement of Africans was legal. This freedom school, so this person had a school from their church where they would teach enslaved and free black folks. And at first some of the white folks were supportive of it. And then they were like, oh, the black folks is getting too uppity. So we not in support of this. So it's illegal to teach, free or enslaved black folks in Missouri. I think it was the whole state. I remember I went to a summer program in Missouri and we used to call it misery. Me and my little friend, that was our code, misery. Remember when we were in misery, when we didn't want anybody to know, oh, that cute guy we met in misery, But anyway, in misery, they outlawed teaching black folks, or, it's against the law for black folks to know how to read, whatever they did, it was off and on throughout the country at different times. And so this man got him a boat and put him some chairs and some tables out there and taught people out on the boat. The only real public radio station to sponsors, check out their schedule, please. Okay, I guess. Yes. That's who I always want to call Toussaint. Is that who that was? This bee is really furry too. But I guess it's good. I'm in the studio now. I guess if I was in the house, the bee would probably be trying to bite me. I'm in the new studio, which is the old studio. Those of y'all who are like, what do y'all call them? Day ones? The day ones? No, this is where, it all started. So he had a floating freedom school, no corporate sponsors, WBAI. Okay. Hey, what's up? Water spout emerges from Florida storm. Now he going into his mama's house and she coming over here barking at him like she gonna check him. And she still won't come in the car. Come on in here, Bella. Come on. Oh, wow. Dog. Okay. The grassroots movement that shut down an Indian copper plant. I think this was in India. I'm not sure. Maryland floods the city where roads turned to rivers. So y'all probably saw the footage already yesterday. Mozambique jihadists behead villagers. Um, what are you doing? Commercials? Security has been increased in Cabo Delgado province since attacks blamed on Islamic militants began in October. At least 10 people have been beheaded, like off with your head, like cutting off people's heads, in northern Mozambique by suspected Islamic militants. Now, cutting off somebody's head, that's a special kind of killing, ain't it? That's not, is that, that's kind of intense. That's not cool. Children are reported to be among those targeted in the attack on Mojane village in Cabo Delgado province, a hub for mining and petroleum exploration. Spayed or neutered, I think that's what he said. Oh, you saying is my dog spayed or neutered? No. She free. That's why she running the street, because she done had too much freedom. But can you have too much freedom? I think I can. So, okay. It's believed to be making millions of dollars from selling. No, leave her alone. I can't make her do nothing. She is little, so if I could get my hands on her a little behind, I could make her do something. But she won't let me get my hands on her. It is believed to be making millions of dollars from selling timber and rubies. Known locally as Al Shahab, the group was formed in 2015 as a religious organization and had known links to the Somali jihadist group of the same name. It is very brutal. They don't cut off the head with one swipe. It's like a hacksaw. It's a bee, and the bee is like climbing up the window. I guess the roof is closed, so it's not going to come in. Oh my gosh. It's usually hacking action. It's not a way for anyone to die. Now, that's like how stoning is, too. They bury you, and then they just, like, throw the stones at you. Like a sawing motion, yeah. So just, peace, to the people who have witnessed this, who have experienced this, to their families, their communities, to all of us, to the people who are behaving in this way. I don't know. I don't know. What I really want to say is that when I was growing up, there was a club, Mozambique in Detroit, and there was like a male review, like strip club type place. So that's all I really knew about Mozambique. I don't know if I've heard of Mozambique, but I don't really know. And that was just like black people, black Detroiters. So anyway, just peace for all of that. That's terrible. AI could predict violent protests through Twitter analysis. Don't kill that queen bee. There's barely any left. Yeah. Well, it's a whole bunch of activity around here. The historical house on the corner, they have like a bee sanctuary, so they grow specific things that are supposed to be attractants to bees. Now my next door neighbor over there, they put chemicals on their grass. I don't even like for Bella to walk on their grass, but I can't control her unless she's on the leash. But for the most part, it ain't a whole bunch of mess and confusion. I still need to find local beekeepers. Have you looked for any? You're like in a big city. It seemed like it seemed like you should probably be able to find people. Because it's not like exactly like all the rage, but there's definitely like a movement of urban beekeepers, Service dog gives birth to 8 pups in Florida airport. So a service dog, like I'm blind and I need a dog to guide me through the airport. Now we had a dog once and we didn't know that the dog was pregnant. Yeah, no, I'm talking about like real urban beekeepers. Like, yeah, you gotta, you look, I think you'll find them. We didn't know the dog was pregnant. We took her to the vet, and when she went to jump into the flatbed, like the truck, it was like she had a hard time getting in the thing. It's like, what's wrong with Dana? She getting fat. we took her to the vet. The vet's like, yeah, your dog, you know, the dog, she's a little bit overweight. She about 5 or 10 pounds over her normal weight. So, you know, a couple weeks later, she had babies, or how, I don't know what, however long it was. And it was like, oh, she wasn't fat. She was pregnant. And then I guess I'm like, how come the vet didn't know she was pregnant? What kind of vet is it? But then when I researched it, it's like, I guess you're supposed to mate your dogs. Like there's this whole thing where people are expecting their dogs to be pregnant, then they're checking for the dogs, and then you have to palpitate their stomach. It's like this whole complicated thing. It's not like, I guess if a woman get pregnant sometimes women get pregnant and they say they don't know they're pregnant, and the people around them don't know they're pregnant. But I guess it's way more common with dogs if you weren't like breeding them or whatever. So I'm like, so I guess they were just like, oh, I'm going to fly to wherever. Probably didn't even know their dog was pregnant. And then, you know, in the airport, hey, Max Evans. And then in the airport, the dog gave birth to 8 dogs, 8 puppies. Yeah. Okay. Father sues Child Protective Services for kidnapping his kids as Black children are disproportionately placed in foster care. This was interesting to me in the context of this whole conversation about what they're doing with separating these legal immigrants from their good that he sued, not good that we're disproportionate, but the separation of the children. Like, what are they doing with the children and why? And it's like, I hadn't really thought about it, but when I saw that Black children are disproportionately placed in foster care, it made sense to me. And then remember baby boy, I can't remember his name offhand, but him and all of his brothers and sisters, yes, good that he sued him and his brothers and sisters. Remember the auntie was trying to get him, but they wouldn't let the auntie get him because the auntie's daughter had accidentally or on purpose let them see their mama, who is their mama. And then these white lesbian women got him. And then was the boy's name Dante? I don't know what the child's name was, but remember he had hugged the cop and was like, whatever. It was that whole weird. And then the white women drove the children, drugged them and drove them off the out into the water. So those are some, those were children. Like, why were they in foster care when somebody in their family wanted them and was fighting for them and working to have them? Like, what's going on? What are you like? What do you do? What are they doing with these children? And children are so vulnerable, and it just seems like it's a pattern throughout history. I don't know where the dog is the entire time, and then got murdered. Right. Those children and a lot of the children. It was a freak car accident. I don't think it was a freak car accident. I think they rode off the road. Now, the last I heard, all of the bodies of the people had not been found, but I think that some of the children's bodies, they found drugs in their system. Yeah. I can tell I'm a little irritable today. Is it because I'm full? I don't know. But then I just kind of feel like a little frustrated too, like this idea of suing Child Protective Services, because it's sort of like you're playing by their rules and their system. Like, it just seems like, I don't know. Yeah. I mean, sometimes I just feel like, I'm taking you to court and it's their court. You frustrated today too, and it's their court, and it's just kind of like, Trump moves to silence federal employees. Irritable bowel syndrome. I have a friend who had IBS like about 10 years ago when we were like still young. I'm like, what are you doing sick? We too young to be sick. So anyway, we had heard, or I had seen, dang, it's hot. She's standing down the street, 4 houses down, just looking. As soon as I turned the car off, it got hot, but then it's too cold. I need a jacket or something, I guess. Excuse me. Come on. In, Bella. Come on here. I think being vegetarian is going to clear up a lot of stuff for me. I hope so. Looking forward to it. My mother is like, I don't know the stuff. She's like, you don't know the stuff because you've been a vegetarian. When you became a vegetarian, you were so young. Blink twice for yes. You were so young, you weren't sick with nothing, so you didn't really notice anything. But because I'm like, I don't, people are like, oh, you're a vegetarian, how does it feel? I'm like, I get cramps. I mean, what you mean, how does it feel? It feel like that was the right thing to do? I don't know. So I don't know. Yeah, don't ask me today. Don't ask me today. In a classic pre-holiday Friday news dump, President Trump signed 3 executive orders on Friday. I think I heard about one, undermining the rights of civil service employees by making it easier to fire federal employees, curtailing the time that they can be paid for union work, and directing federal agencies to negotiate tougher union contracts. Hey, love like the sun. We tired. We bear the brunt of the BS. Stay strong. Yeah. Tuskegee Airmen, it feels like not being a vegetarian something. Tuskegee Airmen, I'm excited. I think it's exciting. I always applaud people. Like, so I guess I didn't give you an applaud. Like, so I'm like, I always applaud people, but I didn't applaud you. So yay, Yapo. So if you didn't know, I didn't ask what's new and good today and what's news for the family. Yapo say he gonna be a vegetarian next Monday. Yay! It feels like not being a vegetarian without the meat. I don't know what it means. I don't know. Tuskegee Airman lynched by an Austrian mob is commemorated 73 years later. That's it. I just got the headline. That story is coming off of Atlanta Black Star. So if you want to look into it, why the Austrians? Why? What WTF? Roseanne Barr calls Valerie Jarrett a monkey, and Black Twitter is reading her for filth. So the story evolved. By the time I heard the story, it was already like it had finished. But I guess Joe and Roseanne, excuse me, who has this TV show that was like a throwback show. She had a show back years and years ago, and I guess they restarted it, and she's like an avid Trump supporter. She's been out here tweeting. Like, I used to follow her on Twitter for a minute when I first got on Twitter. And then I was like, I must be misunderstanding her tweets. And then I'm like, I think she's crazy. So I don't follow her anymore because she seemed like she was, is Angela in her passenger seat? Why are you asking him? Y'all see that dog in the back? Dang, and Bella is loose. My dog is crazy. My dog likes to attack other dogs. Oh, shoot. Here she comes. Come on, Bella. Come here. Dang. Oh, my God. Because you're shit backward if you're not. Yeah, it turned backwards about 3 or 4 days ago. They're gonna have me all on Next Door Neighbor, pictures of the dog. Whose dog is this? It was running loose on the street. Usually I let her out after the nighttime. And then I say, girl, you better get Bella before she costs you $1. Down south, our dogs ended up costing us money. Somebody said the dogs attacked their prize rabbits. But you know what? The thing about chasing a dog is like she can run faster than me. So I feel like, how do I look chasing after her? Like I run and she runs. So I don't chase after no dog. That I don't know how yeah, I can't run faster than her. So So that's Roseanne. I don't know if y'all know who she is or care or whatever, but she had the TV show. People been she's not trained to listen. She is not trained to listen to my commands. Is not trained. She's very food oriented. And because she was little, I never really bothered to train her because I figured I could just yoke her up with the leash. You know what I mean? But no, she's not trained. She's wild. She's wild. She only listens when she wants to. And then my husband is like, "Oh, she's getting better." I'm like, she ain't getting better. She just wanted something from you. And never chase nothing with more legs than you. Don't let me out at the nighttime. I'm a beast. So Roseanne she had a TV show, and it's a lot of people are offended by it. I ain't watched the stuff. Just tell her you have a vegetarian. Right. That's what I need to do. See, sometimes what I'll do is I'll go get food and be like, "Come on, get this food." And then she'll come. So some people were offended that Roseanne had this show. Then it was like juxtaposed because it's the same station that Blackish is on. Blackish did an episode where they were dealing with the take a knee situation, and the network would not air that. They had already filmed it, but the network wouldn't put it on the TV. But meanwhile they got this Roseanne stuff on. So anyway, today Roseanne said, I don't even know who this woman is, but apparently she was like on staff with Obama or something. And Roseanne said that she's a cross between, if Al Qaeda or some Muslim evil group had Screw Rose and the rest of them had a baby with Planet of the Apes, that's who this woman would be. And then Black Twitter started dragging her. Then the Black woman, who I guess was a writer for the show, said she's not writing for the show anymore. And then ABC said they're not having the show anymore. And then some people are like, "Oh, well, the head of the network is a Black woman." Now, ABC is I think it's part of the Disney Corporation. It's hard to kind of keep track of all of that stuff, but she's an employee. And even if she had been advocating against having Roseanne, they were like, "We want Roseanne. She's of the Wanda Sykes," right? Wanda Sykes was the comedian and head writer who stepped down from the show. But even if the Black woman who was the head of the network had been like, "I don't want to have this show, Roseanne," and they were like, "We want it because it's like we got to have something edgy," or whatever it was. I figured she was probably like, "I'm just gonna let her, the expression, give somebody enough rope and they'll hang themselves." A lot of times you ain't really got to say nothing because you can see somebody's nature, and we gonna be who we are. So if you just let people be who they are, it's all gonna reveal itself. You don't really have to press nothing or be pressed about nothing because it's all there. Fork Roseanne, right? So anyway, yeah, I don't, Papua New Guinea takes a month-long break from Facebook. So that country, they're not going to have Facebook for a month. They want to see how people are using Facebook and how it's affecting people. That's deep. That's really interesting. That's interesting to me. I mean, I was thinking, I guess I got like listening to you, talking to you or chatting, last night with you, Ayapo. I was like, you know what I'm going to do? Let me figure out when my next cleanse is. Should take 300 years off of life. What is pissing me off is all the people, Black and white, talking about how shocked and horrified they were, as if they didn't, shocked and horrified by Roseanne. Yeah, if that's what that's some bull. They ain't no shocked and horrified. Cause anyway. But talking to you, like my ex-girlfriend is named Roseanne, LOL. But you talking about, I'm gonna become a vegetarian. I'm like, okay, yeah, I need to get on my cleansing. I need to get back on my cleansing. So, I kind of pulled that up, and I was like, the most that I've ever done is a 10-day cleanse. And I'm like, ooh, what if I cleanse? Usually I do it using the word horrified. Say what? Right. Usually I do like a 10-day cleanse and I culminate with the new moon, but it's like, oh, what if I went from the summer solstice to the new moon? And I counted it out, I think it's like 23 days. And I'm like, oh my God, it kind of stressed me out. I've never done any cleanse for that long, but I'm like, oh, maybe that's something I should do. Are you old enough to be fat driving? No. I had my license when I was 15 and a half. On the day that I turned 15 and a half, I was at the Secretary of State getting my, not my license, but my learner's permit. That's what, that's what we did, It was serious. And we took a class. I think now the children have to pay to take license to drive. License to drive horses. Come on. In. Roll out. Now my other neighbors are looking at me like, she got that dog out there just walking the street. That dog don't listen to her. She ain't no good dog owner. That's right. I'm not a good dog owner. I don't want to own Skit. But I don't want my neighbors to know. I don't want to cause any trouble. So anyway, I think that's exciting to have like a month-long break or whatever break from social media to do it as a whole country. That's like amazing. That article is coming off of Engadget. It's a blog, Engadget, that I'm subscribed to. Hurricane Maria killed 4,600 in Puerto Rico. Right. One of my neighbors, I'm on the way. One of my neighbors is like, oh, I'm glad you're walking your dog in the park. Some of these other people, they just walk their dogs. And then the dogs I have to plant all of my plants new this year. And I'm like, well, the sidewalk is only on two sides of the park. Maybe they walk on the sidewalk. Well, I did it for 10 years. And I'm like, every time I talk to that lady, it seems like, I was kind of like, oh, okay. And I just kept walking. But it seemed like every time I talked to that lady, like, I'm like, was that a compliment? Like, I didn't really feel good about that interaction. And then for like 2 or 3 days when I was walking, I would like avoid her block. Like, I don't want to run into her. She's the one who's like, a lot of people got their houses on foreclosure, but I paid full price for my house. And she seemed like all mad and stressed and pressed about it. And I was kind of like, oh, okay. Like, I don't even know, like, what am I supposed to say to that? I'm just venting about my neighbors. Libya agree historic election plan. I don't know what that is. I guess they're going to have like some election and they've agreed. Give me her address. I'll take care of it. What does she call her house? Something, the slate house, the shadow house, something. It's dark. I feel like it's dark in that house. I can tell. I mean, from the outside, you can tell it's dark. Now that probably means it's cool in the summertime, but it's dark. Who want to live I like the sunlight. Yeah. So I'm curious about Gaddafi. Like, I don't really understand what happened with Gaddafi. And then when I see images of him, he's so white. And I mean, it's like, I guess Libya is technically in Africa, but I guess Gaddafi was like Arab. Like, I'm so confused. Drive horses, just to be clear. Joshua Holt, American held in Venezuela. Gaddafi is a hybrid. Oh. American held in Venezuela returns home to Utah. Now what was interesting about this story is this man had met somebody on the internet. He was going over to Venezuela to meet somebody he met on the interwebs. And I don't know what happened, but now he's returning home to Utah. Do y'all watch 90 Day Fiance or any? I overstand. Have any of you seen his army? Gaddafi's army or these new people? Because Gaddafi is a rap. He's been assassinated, wasn't he? Gaddafi is my daddy. I have receipts. I'm not laughing if it's true. I'm just laughing if it's not true. Like, if you're joking, I'm laughing. But if it's true, I'm kind of like, okay. Maryland teen slapped with hate crime charge after painting racist anti-Black graffiti aimed at principal. Albertson store clerk refuses to let Good Samaritan help pay for groceries of Black woman on WIC, women, infant, children. That's like food stamps, right? I don't understand. So the person couldn't afford the food or whatever, and then somebody was trying to help her, and the store clerk is like, no. All of this mess is making me tired today. This news is making me tired. Organ donation, why you may wait longer if you're Black. I guess if you need an organ, I don't know why you wait longer if you're Black. Maybe fewer Black people make I don't know. Tiffany Haddish's mouth gets her in trouble again. This time lands lawsuit from ex-husband. Has an all-Black army. And he understands the Black folks' plight. Sort of like the guy in Cuba, huh? I would donate you my brain. Do I need a brain? Is it the scarecrow who needs a brain? And the Tin Man needs a heart? So Tiffany Haddish wrote in her book that her ex-husband abused her. They say that it was ghostwritten, that some of that stuff is like loosely straight up hate. Why can't someone volunteer to pay your grocery store money? It sounds like everyday white hate. Yeah, it's ridiculous. It's just meanness, like mean for no reason. I mean, I guess there probably is a reason, but it's just today I can't. So Tiffany Haddish, she wrote in her book that her husband had abused her, but then it was like, I also got the impression that her book may or may not be true, like her biography, and it was ghostwritten. I think her ghostwriter was some white guy, and I'm like, I just, the whole thing kind of confused me. And so now, then I guess her ex-husband was like gonna sue her for like defaming his name, and then they tried to come to a settlement, and I guess they didn't come to a settlement, and so now they're having a lawsuit. So now how much could somebody pay you for, like, if they were to be like, you're you beat people and you don't beat people, how much could somebody pay you for you to like not to non-disclosure? Ooh, steak and gravy. It's been in the freezer since November. A gift from my daughter. Aw. I make fake steak and gravy all the time. Not all the time, but that's like one of my like comfort foods, I can't Tiffany's. I'm going to Jared's. Mama Wa Imputu, this Alabama-born enslaved person, established the Pontops home for girls in the Congo. Oh, in the Congo. In the Congo? Maybe this will be an uplifting story. I need my incense in here to to reset the vibration. Let me roll the windows down. Let's pray that the bee don't come. Get some fresh air in here, some fresh perspective. Can y'all hear the birds? Could you hear them before? Fearing, born a slave. Oh, it's too loud. Fearing, born a slave near Gainesville, Alabama, completed the 9th grade, learning to read. I hear ravens. Dropped it on the floor. That's just the universe being like, just chill, It's probably Bella. She probably over there doing some magic, trying to get you. As a house servant, she started learning to read and write at the age of 33. I don't know why I think that's so fascinating. I mean, and I think in that context, it was probably more common for people to start learning to read or write at older ages. But I always love when older people do stuff, because I feel like people sometimes think, oh, I love you in the chat. Oh, sometimes people think that, oh, it's too old. I'm too old to do this, or I'm too old to do that, And it's like, all you're going to do is get older or die. So you might as well start, why not? As a house servant, she spent much of her time with her mistress and other children. Mrs. Amanda Winston taught her children and young Maria the Presbyterian Catechism and told them Bible stories and tales about missionaries in Africa. These stories about Africa left a deep impression on Fearing. Oh, her name is Fearing. What kind of name is that? Fearing. She worked her way through the Freedmen's Bureau School in Talladega to become a teacher. At the age of 56, she went to the Congo, where for more than 20 years she worked as a Presbyterian missionary and eventually established the Pantops Home for Girls in 1915. I wonder, she taught in the missionary day school and Sunday school and worked with women in surrounding villages. Her students nicknamed her Mama Wa Mputu, a way as to reflect their love and appreciation. Now it's I don't know what these are, little pieces of the tree falling in. That's what I say when I started school. Some people said that's gonna take like 4 years. And I said yes, but guess what? 4 years is gonna pass whether I go or not. What was that trick, that nickname, LOL? For her, fearing? Gila? I'm lost. In 1918, she received the Loving Cup, an honor bestowed on her by the Southern Presbyterian Church after returning to Alabama. Okay. Do we feel better? Our spirits lifted? Intel faces age discrimination allegations following layoffs. So they laid off a bunch of people, but I guess there's a pattern. The people they laid off were older, according to this lawsuit, which is not uncommon. To be a school shooter, and it's denounced by mass shooting families. Not just by mass shooting families, I denounce it too. What kind of dumb skit is that? FCC approves additional funding for Puerto Rico hurricane recovery. I was the mayor of New Orleans who took down Confederate statues, and trying to find a company to help proved how ingrained racism is in the United States. When he find a company like with the cranes or whatever, like, oh, take it down, that the company would start getting threats and stuff from, I guess the Confederate people, like, if you take it down, we gonna kill you or whatever. I don't know. Now she's sitting on the sidewalk. A bombshell New York Times report says that Purdue Pharma, this is a bombshell report, that Purdue Pharma knew OxyContin was being abused within the first few years after it launched. They a bunch of drug dealers. Of course they knew it was being abused. Black Harvard professor who denounced racial bias in police shootings under investigation for sexual misconduct. So, like, a lot of times when these studies and stories come out and it's like, oh, black people get black people get there's racial bias in policing, and a new study shows that there's racial bias in policing. You'd be like, they ain't need to do a study to do that, to know that. We already knew that. But this professor, this Black Harvard professor, some of y'all would call them, y'all had names for people like this. This Black Harvard professor, he's like, he don't believe. He say the research show there ain't no racial bias in police shootings. And now he's being, he's under investigation for sexual misconduct. Now, in theory, I feel like I'm a fan of, principles before personalities. What's right is right, Negro peeing, coon, fool, dumb behind. If I feel like cutting off somebody's head is wrong, who paid that professor to say that? He's at Harvard, so I don't know who he does research for. He's probably part of some conservative think tank. I don't know who he is. I don't even want to know his name, so I'm not going to click on the article, but it is coming off the Grio if you want to know more about it. Father of toddler left dangling from balcony in Paris was out shopping and playing Pokemon Go, probably the PBA. What's the PBA? So I don't know why the toddler was dangling from the balcony. I don't know if they were playing a game. It's like, oh, I'll be right back. My phone is ringing. And then he picked up his phone and got distracted. Or he's like, oh, I'll be right back. You hang here and dangle off the balcony, child. Police Benevolent Association. Oh, yeah, maybe. or the NRA or whoever. Right. I don't know. But I'm like, how you leave your child dangling and you're not there? That don't even sound safe, dangling from a balcony. And then the other thing is, who plays Pokemon Go? That already shows something wrong with him. I'm just joking. But remember when Pokemon Go was like this whole big thing? It was like all of a sudden, De Beers, who controls 30% of the world's mined jewelry, are now producing synthetic stones. Now poor people can keep up with the Joneses bling. When Pokemon Go, hey y'all, hey Delina. No thanks, you greedy devils. Legalize counterfeiting. Alchemy. Was that hashtag alchemy? But remember, it was like all of a sudden, I had never heard of Pokemon Go, and then it was like all over the place. People were like walking into buildings because they were playing Pokemon Go. They were in dangerous neighborhoods because they were playing Pokemon Go. It was like this whole thing. And now you never hear nothing about it until you hear about this foolish person who done left his child dangling from a balcony in Paris while he was out shopping and playing Pokemon Go. We too distracted. How you gonna leave your child? The baby was left by himself. So he left him, and then the baby went and dangled off the balcony. That's coming off the grill, so I don't know if it was a black one. Someone fell into a manhole playing that mess. But remember, it was like all the to get a Visa card. We talked about that story yesterday, but I didn't have that spin on it. But yeah, you got to be a superhero. Somebody was like, our melanin is our cape. Was that it might have been the Radical Home Sister. Somebody said it. I was like, oh, I love that. But yeah. Liege shooting, 2 police officers and civilian dead in Belgium. So, rest in peace to the people who died. It was probably because it was a black man who saved that child. Is that I didn't even make the connection. Our melanin cape. I didn't even realize that was the same story. I thought this was a totally different story. So the Mamadou, whose name I love so much, Mamadou was the one who saw the baby and saved the baby. Oh, nah, I get it. Nah, I did not get it. I did not understand. Oh, I should have my phone plugged in. You know how some cars will charge when the car isn't on and some won't? This car only charges when the car is on. Yes, I'm slow, but I got it. Thank you for the assistance. Why you should get over your dislike of small talk. So a lot of people are like, I don't like small talk. I like to and my Scorpio moon is like that. I don't really, I like to get to the meat of stuff. I like to get to somebody's heart and soul. I don't want to what's your favorite color? I'm just joking. What's your I'm fast. I'm one of them fast tail gals. What's your favorite color? I'm like, what are you passionate about? I want to get to the meat, And this article is small talk is important and small talk is good. Now, when I'm forced to, engage in small talk, and I feel like I'm probably good. I like people, so I'm good at small talk. I chit chat with people about I can usually talk to anybody about somebody. I can usually find something to talk to people about. But yeah. So they're just saying that's an important part of building relationships and getting to know people. That's where I think they were going. Small talk is elevator music. But you have to build trust with people. And I guess I was thinking that I don't like small talk much, but it's kind of as you're talking to people, as you're getting to know people, as you're, it's like you can vibe with them. You can, you can get the vibration, while you ain't talking about shit. This isn't the first time. Yeah, we're not talking about her. Thief sues for $2.7 million after being shot while robbing liquor store. This coming off the griot. Is this a black person? A mother telling her baby boy to love his beautiful You say what now? What say what now? Yeah, I'm gonna have to sue you because what was that story? I'm gonna have to sue you because when I was breaking into your store to rob you of your liquor, I got shot. So now you're gonna have to pay me $2.7 million. I saw some footage yesterday. Was it yesterday? I'm gonna call them boys because they were sagging. And you know how y'all know how the people walk when they trying to hold their pants up, but without their hands, like they trying to use their body to hold. So he was like waddling into the store. They were taking stuff out of the. It was a liquor store. They were taking stuff off the shelf. They had, and then when he left the store, he fell because his pants were falling down. I feel like lesson 101, if you're gonna rob a store, wear some pants that fit you or wear a belt. I wear overalls when I walk without a belt. I hate those styles. It just seems so impractical and uncomfortable, the penguin, right? I'm like, and then he fell. I'm like, po baby, po baby. The baby's just foolish. Greetings, sister. Fabulous and family. Hey, Cap, 25 to life. That's not funny. But anyway, so this thief is suing because he's like, I got shot and you're gonna have to pay me because I was just out here trying to rob this liquor store. Now I came in here for the liquor and the money, not to be shot. So you shooting me or me getting shot, that ain't part of the deal. A mother telling her baby boy to love his beautiful melanin-rich skin has the internet gushing. Miss Geek Africa, I didn't see that's coming off of Atlanta Black Star. It's probably all over Twitter, but I haven't seen it. Miss Geek Africa competition focuses on women's brains instead of their bodies. Not only, if you look at classic pictures of clowns. Oh. Classic pictures of clowns, big shoes. I don't know. Sounds like I'm joking, but check it out sometime. Yeah, I'll have to check it out sometime. April Ryan epic clapback at Melania Trump spokesperson sparks Twitter fight. So last night on Twitter, this one woman that I follow said, you know what? Brain, not body competition. She said, you know what? There's been no word of Melania Trump. 0 for 17 days. I didn't really want to say anything, but she went into the hospital, supposedly get surgery. There's been no independently verified sighting of her since then. They say that the surgery was supposed to be like, oh, it's just a non-invasive, just a casual surgery, but like it wasn't planned. They didn't know it was going to happen. People are like, that she could have been beaten. They say that there is a fight between her, or I guess maybe not a fight, maybe just a beat down of her in an elevator that was about to be leaked, and then TMZ bought it to try to squash the story, but then it's leaking anyway. But she's been missing for 17 days, or not accounted for. And usually when the people go into the hospital, it's a photo op of you to see a picture of them leaving, like, I'm healthy, I'm alive, and that there hasn't been any sighting of that. And she's like, why hasn't it been on the news? And then today I saw on the news at the restaurant, they were like, Melania's been, hasn't been seen for 18 days. So I just thought that was interesting. Like, it's like if walls could talk, like, what is going on behind those closed doors there? Because the stuff that we see in public, maybe they're having to wait for some new parts to come in from the factory. The stuff that we see in public is a hot butted mess. Like, I just can't even imagine, just how awful. I mean, because they're so awful, like, just like in public. So just, ugh. And they say that her PR people aren't saying anything. So I don't know. Meet the Kenyan priest rapping about religion. I guess I don't care. So I like this story. South African world's oldest man. I always like a lot of times, like other than there's a sister on, you can see her on YouTube. I can't think of her name offhand, but she's a vegan and she's been like a raw vegan for a long time. And she like 77 years old. And her husband is, remember her husband was the butcher and he like, I'll always eat meat. He in a wheelchair. And at first when we saw them, Annette Larkins, I think, Annette Larkins. At first, when we saw him appear, he like, I always eat meat, and when we go out, people think she's my granddaughter, and it was like, sir, you didn't get a hint from what she, like. And then I heard the last time that he was having a hard time going to the restroom and stuff. So he started eating some fruits and vegetables and he was able to go to the restroom. I eat meat. Are we still friends? Yeah, we're still friends. I don't want to say I don't care what you eat because I do care what you eat, but not like that. It's not that deep. But so when you look at a lot of times when they do the interviews with like the oldest people or with old people, it always cracks me up because a lot of times they be like, hey, what's your secret to success? And people be like, I drink every day and I smoke and I eat lots of pork. That's my secret. Or, like usually it's nothing. Every once in a while, you'll get someone who's like, I pray every day and, I drink lots of water. But usually it's like some stuff where you be like, it's just, to me, it's, So anyway, this is the South African guy. Look at this image. Now, his face is enough to make us smile. And he said he got to stop smoking. He wants to stop smoking. He said he don't know why he's still alive. It must be God. And he said he don't know why he smoked. That must be the devil. That's my summary of the story. I love that story. He looks good. How old is he? Freddie Blom spent most of his life as a laborer on a farm in the construction industry in apartheid South Africa, but he might soon be recognized as the world's oldest man. Although he gave up drinking many years ago, Freddie Blom is still a regular smoker. Every day I still smoke 2 to 3 pills. That's local slang for tobacco, tightly rolled into a cigarette-length piece of newspaper. It's probably a whole different quality of tobacco from the stuff we smoking over here. Not me, but we. I use my own tobacco because I don't smoke cigarettes. The urge to smoke is so strong, sometimes I tell myself I'm going to stop, but it's just me lying to myself. My chest chases me to have a puff, and then I'm forced to take a pill. He lives long without a wife. He has a wife. Now, his wife say the only thing is he can't tie up his shoe, but other than that, he good. Now, he don't think he good, but he sounds nature. Nature? I blame the devil for that because he's so strong, he says with a mischievous grin. The first thing that strikes one when meeting the centurion is how remarkably healthy and solid he still looks. A tall, well-built man, he walks unaided, if understandably slow, and besides being a touch hard of hearing, he has absolutely no ailments. The former farm worker who turned 114, I know you had to wait a long time to hear that, on May 8th, he's a Taurus. I should have known. Is said to be the oldest person still alive, although this is yet to be verified by the Guinness World of Records. The title was last held by a Jamaican woman, 114, a Jamaican woman, Violet Moss Brown, until September 15th, 2017, when she died at the age of 117. And this is his passport. Well, yeah, the other image was way better. He still sports a slightly unkempt handlebar mustache and gray stubble. There's only one thing: it's the man above, God. He's got all the power. I have nothing. I can drop over at any time, but he holds me, is his response when I ask him what keeps him going. I'm very healthy. I'm good. My heart is strong, but it's only my legs that are giving in. I can't walk the way I used to, he says, speaking in Afrikaans with a loud and clear voice. He has inevitably acquired a celebrity status that has him seeing a constant stream of people ranging from locals to provincial government ministers. He said it's great to know that people care. For his birthday, a local supermarket presented him with big birthday cakes, sugar, refined white sugar. He worked into his 80s. Mrs. Bloom, Janetta, Mrs. Bloom's wife of 48 years. They've been married 48 years. She's 29 years his junior. She says her husband has been remarkably healthy and has only been to the hospital once, many years ago, when he had a problem with one of his knees. She reveals that many people initially doubted her husband's age. There were questions, blah, 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 blah. He was born in 1904. Here's another image of him. I like the photograph. I like the lines of that photo. But anyway, he was born in Eastern Cape, blah, 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 blah. He's the new Henrietta Lacks. When I get up in the morning, now somebody told me, the people who are, we trying to get to organize a trip to Costa Rica. I think that they said that they met in West Africa. They met, there was a village of people who were like 125. Like, and it kind of makes sense to me. Like, I feel like there are all kinds of people in the world that aren't documented by the Guinness's World Records. You know what I mean? Like, who are they to be telling who? You know, it's probably all kinds of people in the world who are older than 114 and just out here doing the thing. We don't know nothing about them. When I get up in the morning, I love to go out and look at the world. I often take a catapult and shoot the little birds. I feel proud when I look at my belt and it was lined with the birds that I had shot. Murderation. Guinness is the name of my pet fish. His first job, he went to Cape Town to install drywall. That's him with his wife. Look at the plants in the background. Can y'all see it? That's a pretty picture. Living in a gang-infested, crime-ridden area like Delft, it's hard to see why Mr. Bloom, it's not hard to see why he believes the prevalence of crime is the biggest change he's observed in his lifetime. Life was much more peaceful. Those were good times. There were no murders and no robberies. Nobody got hurt. There was nothing of the sort. You could lie on your bed all day, and when you woke up, everything, all your possessions would still be there. Now it's changed. And I was kind of confused. I'm like, so is he saying that if he fall asleep, is somebody gonna come in his place and take his stuff? As for politics and the change from the days when South Africa was under white minority rule, excuse me, he said he was working. He didn't really know too much about politics. He was too busy working, I guess, from sun up to sundown to know nothing about no politics. He said they were illiterate and lived a very secluded life, lived and toiled under harsh conditions. On the almost entirely white-owned farms, they were generally prevented from mobilizing, let alone joining trade unions and political. He doesn't eat anything special. He likes to have meat for every meal, but also eats a lot of vegetables. Yeah. Strong enough to wash and dress himself, although according to his wife, he struggles to put on his shoes. He sometimes needs assistance of his grandson, the slave. Yes. Isn't that something? Because part of the shtick here was that you're the minority, although we're the global majority, but you're the minority. That's why you can't have skit, because you're the minority. But then over there, they the minority, and that's why they, you know, it's like it's the mind games, and you can't believe everything people tell you. He starts his day at 4:30 in the morning. Oh, he used to. He now rises much later. I can't do anything, he says. Now, his wife is like, he good, he just can't tie his shoes. This man say, I can't do anything. I can't get on the ladder any longer. I just sit around. I don't have time for the nonsense that's on TV. So he sit around. He don't even want to be bothered with watching the bullshit on TV. Hey, the underwritten darkness. You can't believe anything they tell you. Right. Exactly. He would rather sit outside his house and roll up another piece of newspaper and give in once again to the devil's temptation. Oh, I love that story. Okay, so anyway, maybe that's our good story of the day. Stunning Stunning images show where the U.S. detains migrants crossing the southern border. A secret government report uncovered China's attempt not to watch TV. Right. Hey, Spencer Whitelow. A secret government report uncovered China's attempts to influence all levels of politics in Australia. So not only is Russia doing it, but the United States, all of these countries do it. I guess it's just sort of like, in a way, I don't know why. I think there's like this sense that the U.S. can do whatever they want to do. But when somebody do the stuff to the U.S., we like, oh my gosh, they hacked us. We out here hacking and interfering in people's elections all the time. You know what I mean? Hey, about 15 minutes. Is it far away? Okay. Okay. Okay, I'm gonna hurry up. So, yeah, okay. Brazil fuel protests continue despite price cut. So I guess they were protesting the fuel prices in right. I dare you to defend yourself, my mother's husband. That's who gave me the name Gila. He wanted to call me G. I'm like, you would not be calling me G. No, you would not be calling me Gila. Brazil protests continue despite price cut. So, I guess that there was some protests going on, and then there's been a price cut, but the protests continue. MH370 Ocean Infinity search for missing plane formally ends. So, Angel. I like Gila. I love Gila. Somebody used to call me Jalala. I like that too, but because it just seems like what Angela do you know who goes by Gila? I'm the only one I know. So MH370 was this plane that just disappeared. According to this article, they found some parts of it in different places, but they still haven't found the actual plane. There was this company that was like, look, we'll hire us and you don't have to pay us, but if we find it, then you pay us. And so now they like, we can't find it. So where the plane at? What happened? Y'all remember this plane? It was like Malaysian Airlines flight. Remember, it just like seemed to disappear. So anyway, this company has given up on finding it. So that's all I got for the news stories. Did I miss any important stories today? I think that the story, no, the answer was supposed to be none of your freaking business. Stop being so freaking nosy. The plane was a plot. Oh, really? The Matrix happened. I never saw that show Lost. It seemed like it was weird, but I mean, people were like really into it. Okay. So today is the best day ever. You are the greatest. Drop into the comments what you're looking forward to, what's new and good. I own the whole series, but I never watched it. It didn't even look attractive to me. Now, I did watch Walking Dead, and then I got into Fear the Walking Dead. Now, I haven't watched it all for probably about a year now because I ran out of time. But it was interesting. Walking Dead. Looking forward to eating the steak that you dropped on the floor. No! The moment I embrace my peace within and surrender the outcome is the moment that the universe can truly get to work. You know what? This is really, really weird because this is the second card that I worsted. Queen Sugar comes. Queen Sugar is back on tonight. Oh my God, I love Queen Sugar. This is the second time that we've had this card come up. And there are 52 cards in the deck. This is the Universe Has Your Back deck. So that's kind of deep that that these cards are coming up twice. So this means this is something we really, really need to, like, the universe really wants us to hear this and to understand this. The moment I embrace my peace, the moment I embrace my peace within and surrender the outcome, is the moment that the universe can truly get to work. Just embrace the peace within and surrender the outcome. Don't worry. Just do your part. Let God do God's part. That's what that means. So that's it. Anybody have anything? Y'all can y'all see Bella right in the bottom of the frame, standing in the street? Oh wow, dog. When I get out of this car, I'm gonna choke her out. Okay. So thank you. Oh, thank you for being here. Go on and type any last words. Thanks, lady. You're welcome. My pleasure. Any last words? Any goodbyes? Any good news? Any businesses? Violence is not the answer. Bella is spoiled, spoiled brat dog. I like Bella. She cool with me. Bella's cool with me. She get on my nerves sometimes, but she cool with me.
Be you. Be fabulous. Be fabulous you. Be you. Be fabulous. Be fabulous you. Who you gonna be if you ain't you? Who you gonna be if you ain't you? Who you gonna be if you ain't you? Be you. Be fabulous. Be fabulous you.
I'm so sorry that you had to participate in that silliness. Today is the best day ever. And you are the greatest. You are the #1 stunner. So be you, be fabulous you. Thanks for being here. You are blessed and a blessing. That's what you came here for. Peace. Thank you.